Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick has said this session he wants to ban all forms of THC, and that's being met with some opposition. Texas Agriculture Commissioner Sid Miller is one of the voices who's not exactly thrilled about a sweeping move like that. Commissioner, we thank you for being with us.
It's good to be with you today. Thank you.
You know, first and foremost, tell us your thoughts about THC and Texas. Hemp has been been able to really infuse the economy here.
Well, I wrote the rules for the hemp program for the Agriculture Department, and I've always been a proponent of medical use. I mean, if it can help somebody, let's help them. I've never been a fan of recreational use, so I kind of get where Dan Patrick's is coming from. When I wrote the rules, Delta 8 and Delta 9 didn't exist, and those are kind of a synthetic marijuana. They do the same thing as marijuana. So what we have now is kind of the wild, wild west. A seventh grader can go in a gas station, grocery store, and buy THC gummies, Delta 9, and take them to school and pass them out to their friends. That's not against the law. That's just not good.
So there are age restrictions, I thought, on this. So there's no age restrictions.
None. I mean, it's the Wild West. So I'm glad that they're filing the bill. We've got to do some things, at the minimum, maybe age restrictions. Maybe seventh graders shouldn't be passing out THC gummies at school.
Sure.
So we're going to look at that. There may be a total ban on Delta 8, Delta 9. We'll see. I just want to make sure we don't go too far and ban the medical use.
Right. The Compassionate Use Act has been, it's even been expanded, and as sessions have gone on, with more conditions, more people being able to access it.
Yeah, and we need to get to the point where that should be between the doctor and the patient. Bureaucrats and politicians don't need to be making that choice who gets treated and who doesn't get treated. Let the medical professionals figure that one out.
Yeah. You know, of course, I also want to talk to you about, some of the legislation that you want to see passed this session. You know, lawmakers obviously only meeting every other year. What do you really have on your priority list?
Well, top of agriculture priority and my priority is water. Our state's out of water. We no longer have a sugarcane industry because we ran out of water. The last sugarcane plant closed in Texas. We don't have that crop anymore. We pushed out 6,000 acres of citrus, no water for the trees. Our vegetable farmers grow 4 or 5 crops. They had enough water for 1 crop. So it's a real problem. So that's top priority. Number 2, I want to finally this session stop our enemies like the Chinese from buying any more of our farmland and spying on the military bases. That absolutely has to stop. We have to do something on immigration, which that is happening under the federal orders, but I think there's $6.5 billion in the budget you just talked about to address illegal immigration in the state of Texas, so we'll partner with our federal partners to make that happen. So the biggest thing facing our country, our farmers, but consumers, is we have, for the first time in my lifetime, an agriculture trade deficit. Now, we've always been the breadbasket of the world. We've grown enough to feed our people and a lot of other people too. Not true anymore. We're going to buy more than $45 billion more food than we export. That's got to stop. We can't maintain our freedom if we're dependent on a foreign power to feed us. So we've got to turn that around.
You know, when you think about that and then you factor in food prices, I mean, that at the end of the day, I think that is the thing that people think about. That is what hits them the hardest in their everyday lives when they're going to the grocery store, they're trying to buy food to put on the table for their family. You know, what can really be done, you think, to bring down some of those prices? Well,
one thing we're battling is a little bit out of our control is avian influenza, bird flu. Mm-hmm. That's why eggs are over $6 a dozen, so we're in the peak season of that, the peak season is when we have migratory waterfowl coming back and forth through our state. Texas has pretty much dodged that, but states like Georgia and other high-producing egg states getting hit pretty hard.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All issues that we know you're going to be on top of. We thank you so much for taking some time out to talk with us today.
Thank you. Pleasure being here.